anticipation this time.
Playing chess. Well, we should just. Have you decided? I have the idea of doing it an hour before the TNM. Did you see that message?
No, I didn't. But let's start it, because then let's talk about it before the tournament starts.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Marathon. My name is Abel Talamantes. I'm the chess director of the Mechanics Institute, and with me is FIDE master Paul Whitehead.
Right, Oscar winner, yeah.
Oscar winner Paul Whitehead.
Thanks everybody for showing up. And Abel, we were just talking about that Grandmaster Nick DeFermian and myself are going to be, and maybe you and Judith Starry as well, are going to be taking on all comers next week. Yeah,
so starting next week, we thought it would be a lot of fun, because the reason this kind of came about is we stream our Tuesday Night Marathon and we have our Friday Mechanics Social, but we want to create more content, right, and do some fun things. So we put out there to Nick and Paul, maybe we can do an arena for an hour during the week, and anybody can have a shot at playing Paul or Nick, and then we'll stream that, right? And it would be fun. And then I say, well, why don't Judith and I get in there and jump into the arena, right? And I'm very, very beatable, right? I'm 1800 with probably 1500 strength, and then Judith's
beatable. I'm beatable. I was 2450 at my best, and now I'm 2350.
And none of us are in our prime, right? So, but we thought.
But Nick, the opportunity to play Nick DeFermian, Grandmaster Nick DeFermian, that's huge.
Yeah, and he was super game for it, right? So, so we'll be starting that next week, and we'll announce it. We'll put it on Facebook, and we'll send a message. We think it'll be a lot of fun, and just to kind of engage our players. And
every move is to the death, Abel. Don't forget that.
No, I don't give games away. It may look on the board that I give games away with my blunders, but I'm never intending to give a game away. So look out for that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And Paul was talking about maybe he'll do it an hour before the TNM, and we'll figure the schedule
as a lead into the TNM. Maybe having an hour's worth of play first.
That could be a lot of fun. Oh, let me get rid of this here.
Get me ready for the commentary.
Oops, I think I might have to fix the board here. All right,
we have Alexander Lenderman playing tonight versus Rui Yan.
Yeah, so that's the board one matchup. Lenderman.
Fantastic matchup.
Yeah, Lenderman and Rui.
Playing in the Cadet Championship, the U.S. Cadet Championship.
Yeah, and
next weekend.
And prior to our broadcast here, we just did the drawing of lots for the positioning for the players. So Christopher Yu and a lot of other players were on, and so we drew the positions. So because it's a round robin, once you know the positions 1 through 8, you sort of know the pairings for every round. So we'll be posting that up shortly. I'm sure Judith's working on starting the games for this tournament now, but by tomorrow we'll be able to see who's playing who in every round and what color, and so that's a lot of fun. And that'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend, the 2020 U.S. Cadet Championship, brought to you by the Mechanics Institute.
Strong.
Yeah, it's probably, you can argue, one of the strongest ever, just because all the top players are able to make it because it's online, right?
Usually, they're like IMs and FIDE masters.
Yep.
Crazy.
And Rui, who's playing on board 1 tonight, she got the organizer wild card, the only woman in that field. So it'll be interesting to watch. And she's a fighting player.
Yeah. And like tonight, it could be a make or break series of moments for her. I mean, she's playing Alexander Lenderman tonight for the heart and soul of the Tuesday Night Marathon.
We gotta pump it up. Okay, let me fix the board here because I messed up the board. I keep messing up the board here. And the games will be starting shortly. And let's move this over.
There's a bit of a delay, but then once we get going, and
for those that don't know, all the games are started manually by Chief TD.
I'm going to go look at the pairings while we're on the MI Chess Club website.
Starting now, and Judith says that the games will be starting now, so let me go and look. And there it is right there. So Rui and Lenderman have started, so let me pull a bunch of games up as I like to do.
It's a Petrov defense, everybody.
So that's how Rui has started her action. Let's see, Chiron.
Petrov. So the Petrov is named after a Petrov from Russia, where Lenderman's.
It's got that connection.
Yeah, that connection. You know, the Russians play. They got. In fact, it's called the Russian opening in some places.
Is that right?
The Russian defense. Petrov.
There, just always. And I'm pulling up a bunch of games, and then we'll get to the top.
I wonder
boards.
who's played it. I'm not sure if Kasparov ever played it. Probably not. But Fischer never played the Petrov defense. So
I toyed with it when I was like learning chess. For some reason, maybe it was the symmetrical nature, but like I toyed with it in the beginning. But why do you think Lenderman went with the Petrov?
I mean, for all I know, it might be one of his main defense, but he plays the French, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, he's a theoretician, so he's going to know all kinds of stuff. And I don't really know his repertoire. I've been seeing him play the French defense right and left here. So maybe he just thought Roy's a dangerous opponent, might have prepared for it, and tried something different.
And Lenderman's playing in the 2020 U.S. Closed Championship.
Yeah, this guy is really strong. There's no doubt about it. So
a U.S. cadet participant against a U.S. championship.
That's right. Yeah. 2 champions here.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say, I'm the commentator, and I'm rooting for one of the players.
You're declaring your loyalty.
Yeah. I won't say who, but Roy plays for the mechanics all the time. So,
and
our wild card pick for the cadet. So
yeah. She's and Lenderman won our rapid that we had last Saturday, which we actually had a pretty good turnout for that. But
he's been romping through our tournaments.
Yeah, and he's a really really super strong GM. But there's some tournaments where some of the players like really throw him a challenge, and then there's some where he just like wipes out everyone. And actually, the rapid was one where he just wiped everyone out. Like it just.
Yeah, I'm impressed. He's a very steady player that plays correctly. I've noticed that. I would describe that as his style. He plays steadily, solidly, and sort of has what I would call a correct style. B6 is an interesting idea here.
The B6?
A little bit unorthodox, yeah. But it could be, it's probably within the realm of. Looks like a new idea, maybe. I'd be tempted to play D5 if I was white here to try to trip black up a little bit with this.
Give him something to think about.
Move.
Let me go
to... I was talking about Lenderman's correct play. He makes this kind of strange or odd-looking move.
Let's go to board 2, which is FIDE Master Kyron Griffith, who's white, against Nicholas Wang.
All right, Nicholas has gone up in the world a bit lately. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a strong young player who's played at Mechanics.
Right.
Did well, actually, in one of our TNMs. Kind of.
I think Nicholas is the guy that I asked, how are you going to beat these older chess players? And he said, by out-calculating them.
Out-calculating them, and do you think you're going to win? And he said, yes, the tournament.
Yeah, so he's got all that. He's got a lot going for him, the confidence especially.
There was one game where he had against Natalia Sadikova where he won that game because she flagged, but she flagged at a moment where if she had she only had like a rook, and if she had sacrificed that rook, her king was in a stalemated position. So and it would have been a forced take. You had to have taken it. So she was in a time scramble, and if she had seen, she would just given up her rook, and then when the king captured back, she was stalemated. But she didn't see that in the moment. She ran out of time. So that was like a tough loss. But like he had the breaks going for him in that tournament. But I mean, he put himself in a position where he was winning. So he's a strong player.
And Kyron's playing the kind of chess you would expect from playing a younger player, sort of playing for squares in the center kind of game. Simple opening here.
Is that like a deliberate, I have more experience than you, I don't care how strong you are?
Well, it's got that kind of feel to it. This opening is kind of innocuous. And,
Let's check in on Elliot Winslow on board 3. He's playing Arul Viswanathan, who is white. And he's a very solid player. He's 2,000 rated, but whoops. Let me.
Elliot's not a solid player, as he's gotten. And it's really interesting. I've been reading up on these world champions and the phases they go through, and I'm really fascinated by Alekhine in his later years. He died the world champion, but he started to play with this incredible recklessness. Maybe part of it was drinking, but also just incredibly reckless, as though anything would win. He just kept playing like these just wild stuff. Not all of it was good, but he was so talented and ahead of the players of right then at that point, except for Capablanca, who he dodged, and so it's an interesting world, the chess world. Some of this old stuff.
Let's take a look at. Actually, why don't I have that game?
So Elliot's the H file's open and it looks dangerous, but he's attacking in the center and looks good for, looks like a game. Black's ahead in development. I'm
going to be looking up a game here, so I'm going to have to switch over here to this Google sheet because there are fans out there that will not forgive me if I don't find this game and bring it up. Whoops. Oops.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. This is the Tuesday Night Marathon, held since 1972 during the Fischer-Spassky, right after the Fischer-Spassky match, or during it. All these people started going to the chess club, chess clubs all over the country, all over the world, and the Mechanics Institute. The director at the time, way before Abel Talamentes in 1972, started this tournament, and now we don't even know, probably we'll never know how many of them there have been. Hundreds and hundreds of Tuesday night marathons, I suppose. And the first one was 12. The first marathons were real marathons of 12 rounds.
That's a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
And all one game per evening, yeah?
One game an evening with the Germans. They used to have Germans.
I remember that. I mean, I
games that we played out in the later part of the day, there was no game over, stuff.
I remember early on when I played at the Colty Chess Club in Campbell, because that was every Thursday night. It still is every Thursday night. But I remember I had games where we had to make the move and seal it in the envelope and see you next Thursday. And
and the advantage of that is you could get your friends together and analyze the position and sort of get into chess in depth in a way, and if you read over the stories of the world champions and Fischer and Tal and Botvinnik, and everybody's adjourning their games and analyzing the positions without computer help, and it's very interesting. Fischer didn't use seconds and out-analyzed all these Russian grandmasters. It was incredible. That was part of the amazing thing about reading about Fischer and his adjournment.
So here we are back to the top board on round 5 here. Rui is playing white against Alexander Lenderman. And we had a Petrov defense, and here we are after rookie 8 by Black.
Yeah, so complicated game. Black looks like sort of getting what he wants here. And it's here that you want to formulate some kind of a plan if you're white. I mean, you've got your pieces out, and you have to sort of kind of figure out what to do. And it's not easy always to find the right plans in these positions. Black's bishop is nicely posted there. I mean, Black seems to solve some of the opening problems here. And if I'd be white, I'd be looking for tactical solutions, maybe. Like pawn to d5, maybe even is a possibility here.
Pawn to d5. Oh,
yeah, we have to. And if knight takes d5, knight d5, bishop d5, bishop h7 check or something like that, and then queen d5. And maybe that's equal, but still, white has to sort of figure out a plan here. You can throw in pawn to a4, but Black is also thinking of playing knight f8, knight g6. I don't know. It's a funny looking position here.
Well, it sort of reveal itself, the whole b6, bishop b7, right? It's now that the bishop is along that diagonal, something like knight f8, knight g6, with everything loading up towards that king side looks like something for
that's
later
one
stages.
Possibility. Black's still flexible. He can play pawn to c5 or, a6 first. But coming, if necessary, bishop f8 instead of knight f8. So it's the flexibility of Black's position right now, despite the fact that he lacks space. White still has to kind of find some squares for her pieces. And this is, maybe knight g5. It looks odd, but after h6, the knight could go to e4. Or even if it went back to f3, just having provoked h6 would be probably good. Knight g5 might be the move here. It's got a kind of a certain feel to it.
I'm gonna flip over and check in on this game. This is Pranav Sairam is white against women grandmaster Carla Heredia, who is black. This is out of a Sicilian.
The number 1 overall online quick player against the number 1 online regular woman in the nation. Wow.
Wow.
How about that?
Thank you for that. The almanac, we'll call him the sports almanac F-Pawn. Thank you for that
Very
bit
interesting.
of information.
Somebody's talking about adjournments also in the Carla's gotten that was in trouble in some of the openings last week, I thought, or just never got sort of out of the opening. And I think she's doing better in the opening here.
Or actually, she seemed like she did well in the opening, but then didn't capitalize on
That's possible. One thing's for sure, my memory is faulty. So. I remember somebody's Lex Twitch 2.
Yeah, and adjournments.
Yeah, adjournments. That's right. Coming back the next day or something like that.
And then nowadays, you go home and you know all the variations in 5 minutes. You just enter into Stockfish.
One of my only adjournment stories that I can remember at all is Nick DeFermian at the Mechanics Institute. Nick and I played 139 move draw in the Northern California State Championship one year, and
did you offer him 20 draws?
It might have been adjourned twice. It was 139, the longest game of my career by a mile. And here Nick and I are still back there at the Mechanics. It's amazing. And this game coming up. It's one of the chess stories that I live for,
Let me check this game out because this looks interesting with Arul Viswanathan against Elliott. I mean, the king looks pretty exposed, but White's king's also still in the middle of the board.
Yeah, I mean this has gone well for Black. I like the knight e4 move and the positive play, the positive way that Black has played this.
And F-Pawn's in the chat. So the only adjournment of his life was in Reno. Resumed the game at 12:30 a.m. Played another 3 hours, and then the next round at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, no, adjournments did crazy things to people. They were part of the endurance of chess, and sometimes adjournments would be played out. There would be a set aside day for adjournments. You would read about that, so that several rounds would be played, and players would backlog adjournments. They'd have like 2 adjournments needing to be played out on the day set off for adjournment. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But all part and parcel of chess back in those days, or at least professional and semi-professional chess.
Yeah.
Master chess and chess with slow time controls.
I mean, the closest thing we have to an adjournment is when we had a smoke in the building. We had to clear everyone out at one of our Tuesday night marathons. Yeah.
That was amazing.
That actually, tournament directors with a ton of experience were trying to figure out, because we had to reach out to Carol Jarecki and Boyd Reed at US Chess, and these are like the highest level of tournament directors. And
you just voided the whole round, right?
Well, the games that were done went in the books as a completed game, and then the ones that were not, we voided. Yeah, but it was funny because some people agreed to a draw, even though their game was in progress, and so that's probably the closest to an adjournment-like scenario that came up. But
right.
It took fire to make it happen.
It's interesting the sportsmanship questions that came up during and after that. I thought were quite revealing as the players let their opinions be known. I seem to remember all kinds of, interesting
takes,
interesting opinions. Let's put it that way.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I mean, people were. I had one person just upset at me that we even stopped it altogether. I'm like,
that the building burned down. I'm mating him.
I know. I mean, we're smelling smoke, and I'm looking inside the building. It looks basically like a big box, right? Like sardines in a can. I think we got to get everyone out of here. Check this game out with.
Pon. See you later.
Yeah. Look at this game with Kyron Griffith and Nicholas Wang.
All right, so there's the fight for the D5 square, which has been going on since early on in the game, and this is where as I was saying, the Karen Griffith is going to, in these little decisions that are made right around here, this is sometimes where the master player makes the correct decisions and the less experienced player will make the wrong decisions, like which pieces to trade and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what black should play here. I mean, it looks like the threat is knight b6, queen b6, d5. So black can't take. It doesn't look like black can take with bishop d5, e d5, knight moves, and then takes on e5. So the knight has to sit there for a minute, and maybe black should maybe take twice on d4. I'm not sure.
Yeah, interesting position for sure. Like, just
yeah, and black has to make some precise calculations to keep the balance here, I think.
Look at this sharp position with Arul and Elliott.
Yeah, you kind of like the white rooks, but they don't, yeah. So Elliott took on c3, and then after rook b1 played bishop f5.
Correct.
And white naturally got a chance to
rook b7.
Get aggressive there with rook b7, and that looks like good timing on white's part. And I think and Elliott might have been a little rash by playing bishop f5 there, because now suddenly bishop takes c2 is met by queen c1, which threatens pawn to e4 and queen to h6 check. And so maybe safer is queen takes c2, but then white's probably got no problems after queen takes c2, bishop c2, d takes c5, and then the rooks. All right, this is dangerous. This looks quite dangerous for black to do this, unless I'm missing something.
And what do you think is the continuation here?
Well, queen c1.
Yeah.
And then maybe rook h8. Or, I mean, if white plays e4, black could then play rook h8. So maybe black's got a chance to make another move here, taking on d4. But white, that's risky. It's interesting. Very optimistic move, bishop takes c2.
Let's
played quickly. I guess rook h8 is strong, actually, because after if white trades, of course, then black takes back with the rook. Yeah, maybe rook h8 is a strong response to queen c1.
Let's do a check-in on board one. And looks like so she did the d5.
Very interesting. Very good. Yeah, this is white has a good game here.
And
this is precisely what white should be aiming for. I mean, with the possibility of playing knight d4 and then knight c6 or knight e6 or knight f5 or white. This is exactly the kind of thing that white should be aiming for, and white seems to be better here. I'm not sure exactly what happened, what the last few moves were.
You want me to?
Yeah. What did she play after? Right here. Yeah, right here after rook e8.
So bishop c4.
Oh, okay. Trying to get black to play d5, and black doesn't play d5. Maybe black should play d5. Instead, this happens.
h6.
Yeah.
And then d5.
Right. Now, to my mind, this cramps black a lot, and it's not. Maybe d5 was just too conservative.
They agreed to a draw.
Yeah, I think white is better here. I mean, with after a4 and knight d4, and this is white's definitely better here.
Yeah. So the game is The game is drawn on board one.
One day, Rui will not be happy with the draw in this position, and we'll play it out.
But I'm sure she's happy with the result tonight with one round to go. But yeah, I mean, we had that conversation also with during the tournament where that's kind of the key, the next level. I think it was with Jonah Bush, where we're saying you get that mindset where you want to beat that master or beat that international master when you know you have a better position.
Absolutely.
Flip to Kyron's game. I remember one game. I remember this game of all the games, tournament games that I've played since I came back into chess like 8 years ago. This is the one game I remember. I was playing Ladia Jurasic, and we had played for about 5 hours in a tournament, and got to a point where I could have repeated. I was better, like in an end game, right? We saw a couple minor pieces and pawns. I was better, and I knew I was winning. I could have repeated in taking a draw. And I said, you know what? I have a better position here. I'm going to press it and play. And I ended up blowing it, of course, and I lost. And Judith will tell you I was like upset beyond like consolation. But that's what you gotta. If you're better, you gotta go for the win, right? And it sort of doesn't do you anything to take a draw when you know you're better, because sure, you got the draw, but I think months later it doesn't feel like you did something when you know you were better. And maybe it's a mindset that you develop.
It's definitely a mindset, and also it's a competitive. It's part of the competitive nature of chess. I think that you've got to play the position, and if the position sort of says you need to play for a win here, then you're doing what chess demands of you, in a sense. And part of becoming a better chess player is to see it as a sporting kind of endeavor as well. So. Yeah, I had my own moments early on in my chess career. I was probably Rui's age, or right around there, and I had really outplayed this master, and he offered me a draw. And I was a strong A player maybe at the time, or an expert, and I took the draw, and I regretted it, and then. Yeah. After that, I was like, I'm going to play for a win, no matter who I'm playing.
Yeah.
And that stood me in good stead, because I beat some grandmasters, and the only way you can do that is by not taking their draws and playing uncompromisingly. That's how you have to. That's the way you're going to beat them. And but. Lots of factors can, there's the tournament situation and all kinds of other factors as well. And maybe you don't have things completely worked out. Grandmasters have a way of offering you a draw before it gets really bad, right?
Yeah.
So, they sense danger better than we do, right?
I remember there was a tournament where Grandmaster Christian Kurilla was playing FIDE Master Ryan Tagazadi, who's actually his team, BCS Best Chess School, who won the U.S. Amateur West. They'll be playing actually this weekend for the Amateur Championship online. But I remember Christian, after a game, he was playing Ryan Tagazadi, and he was saying, I asked him, hey, how'd your game go? And he said, I got a draw. I'm like, wow. I go... he offered you a draw? Because I assumed Ryan must have offered a draw. And he goes, no, I offered it. I'm like, why'd you do that? He's all, I was worse. So, he wasn't going to press on a position where he knew he was worse, and he probably offered it.
Well, Christian offered the draw, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked him why did he offer it. He's like, because I was a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah, and grandmasters see the danger coming, so they'll they'll offer it. And for example, I'm not sure who offered the draw in this position. The position that we saw. I assume it was Lenderman. He was worse in that position, I think.
Yeah, so this is, here it is right here.
Yeah. So I think black is worse here. And after A4, followed by knight d4, white can trade rooks on the e file, then play rook e1. Just a simple sequence like that leaves white firmly in control here. And there are many examples, like Fischer-Georgiou and other games where white builds up positions like that and wins, so you've got to familiarize yourself with the sort of the techniques in those kinds of positions where you can convert your advantage.
And here we have Jonah Bush as white against Chelsea Zhu as black. This is
sharp.
Yeah, and Chelsea's strong 1800 player.
The knights are off. Yeah, both players are taking the knights off.
kind of wild with nothing but bishops flying around.
Well, white's bishop is attacked. Black has 2 passed pawns on the queen side, and white has 1 passed pawn on the queen side, and black's up a pawn. So, I mean, there's still a lot going on here.
A lot of chess to be done.
Hard to know exactly.
Let's do a check-in on the Elliott game with our rule this one, Nathan.
Elliott's doing very well now. I mean, coming up is queen b1, trading queens. Black has an extra outside pass pawn. We're white's moving into losing position territory here. Knight d4, queen b1 puts white completely on the spot. So white has no time to play knight d4. Maybe queen a1 check.
What about knight e1? What about knight e1?
Knight e1, yes.
And then queen b1, queen d2?
No, if queen b1, then queen takes c2. I like your knight e1 move.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I like it. But the problem is black just goes back, or maybe plays bishop to b1 even, or could go back. And then what's the white knight doing on? White needs a plan here, because black.
Doesn't white want to push e4 as soon as they can, as long as that white's on that diagonal?
That's true, but it's not an automatic mate. Queen h6 check, king f6. I guess that, yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't think black would want to allow that. So knight e1, maybe bishop to b1.
But then can't you do
on e4?
E4 then. I definitely did not calculate that out. It was just
no. I mean, I like
idea.
yeah. And white can play queen h6 check, and black's going to have to play king f6. So you're right. White might have a nice little try there. If knight e1, bishop e4, pawn to f3.
Hey, Alexi. Bishop e4.
So knight e1, bishop e4, pawn f3. Yeah.
Let me take a look at Kyron Griffith's game.
Yeah, this is unresolved here still. Complicated struggle this has been.
Yeah, really.
It's been quite a complicated game.
Technical
Maybe
game.
black should play a5 here and sort of try to resolve more of things on the queen side.
So Lexi Root has joined us.
Black has really done pretty okay in this fight. I think. I like the move a5 here, and continuing to sort of break it up on the queen side.
So Nicholas is on the clock now.
But just black could move the queen back and then open the c file with c takes b4, and that might be good for black too. I mean, black has done well here and is holding this quite easily.
Let me check in on this game here, which is Ayan Zaman as white against Kaylin Melville.
Well, black seems to be doing pretty well here with that knight on d3, but there's all kinds of other factors like the white being able to play maybe knight to f5, knight to e3 to f5, or I don't know. It looks like black is doing well here, but still needs to sort of, this is complicated.
Yeah, so for those
gotta be good for black though.
For those of you that have just joined, board one was a draw between Rui Yang Yan and Alexander Linderman. So board one is in the books. Let's check in on the top game in the under 1800 section. And that is here. This is Pranav Pradeep against Yali. I believe it's Perlman. Yep, Yali Perlman.
Black is winning a piece.
Yeah. Wow. Just like that, huh? And and the standings wise, if black
almost. I mean, just barely. Let's see. Can white play knight takes c6? That's the only move that I see here.
Or is there any? No, that doesn't.
It's just a
what about knight f7? King takes knight, rook takes rook.
King takes f7. King f7. But what about knight takes c6?
No, but knight f7, king takes f7, rook takes rook, and then
king takes
rook, and then nothing, right?
But on knight f7, I can also play bishop takes f4.
Yeah, it's the same difference.
And if you play knight d8, I just play rook takes d8, winning a piece. And that's the problem with knight c6 too. Is that black can simply play bishop takes f4, knight takes d8, rook takes d8. But that looks like the best try here. Hoping for, knight takes c6, rook e8, and queen takes d6. Hope springs eternal. So what's happening with Elliot's game?
I'm glad you said that because it looks like everything we talked about has happened. Knight e1, e4.
Bishop b1, e4.
Bishop b1.
So Elliot didn't mind this because it's because of why. He can play rook h8 if need be. But there's problems with that, definitely. Black's in a little bit of a pickle here with this counterattack, which we saw coming some moves ago. So if black plays, if black can't allow queen h6 check, I don't think, because of king f6, rook f4 check. That's just, and white is at least a draw, I think. D takes e4, queen h6, king f6. That's just kind of gruesome. It's hard to believe that anything good can come of that.
Can he do rook
What's
h8?
Black to do? Well, if rook h8, then the simplest maybe might be rook takes rook, king takes rook, and then e takes d5. Now, if you play queen takes d5, queen takes b1. So Black could play queen takes c5 then, but with 2 pawns for a piece. But that's all that he's going to get. If you move your knight, White's going to play pawn to c6 really quickly. That's quite dangerous. It's quite dangerous. Black's pieces are kind of like out of the game. So Elliott might have to allow queen h6 check. Yikes.
And then see how it goes from there.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Let's check in on Carla Heredia right here, who is black against Pranav Sairam.
Yeah, so this game is still in a kind of a equilibrium. Queen moves, pair of rooks get traded. Maybe black is flexible and has a decent position here. Maybe even a little bit better after that.
So
White's bishops are kind of, static. Not much going on. Exactly.
I'm going to flip over to Kyron Griffith's game here. And this is a big week of chess for the Mechanics Institute because we have the final rounds tonight of the Tuesday night marathon. And then we have the U.S. Cadet National Championship starting Friday night. And we'll be announcing this over, social media and Facebook. But Grandmaster Sam Shanklin will be on the broadcast Friday at 5 p.m. to help commentate just for a little bit on the U.S. Cadet. And so that'll be exciting. So that'll be Friday night, 5 p.m. John Donaldson is going to come in on Sunday for the last round. Grandmaster Patrick Wolf is actually going to spend a few hours with us on Saturday. So a lot of U.S. championships combined there. I think it's 6 combined with Nick DeFermian as part of the group. So a lot of top talent and mechanics history joining the broadcast throughout the weekend. So very exciting for everyone. Wow, look at this game. What do you think?
I think that Black is easily holding here. Well, right now Black is a little better probably, but certainly holding. But you worry about the younger player against the experienced master, and
we've seen Kyron so many times.
Kyron has a brutal way of exposing the weaknesses of inexperienced players. Over and over and over again. So we'll just have to see what happens. And I think, Black, through reasonable methods, should probably be able to hold this. But already there's been a couple of inaccuracies. White played rook c4, encouraging knight d2. And it's in the end game that we start seeing, slip-ups.
That's a nice little move, right?
That is kind of an interesting move, yeah. And it's typical a tactical try by a young player. Does it work? I'm not sure.
But look, it doesn't White now have knight e4?
Exactly. So is Black calculating this? And
actually knight e4 sure. And the rook's under threat. So
right. So then the d pawn also. So Black played this very quickly to go into this. You see a lot of quick moves in crucial positions. I'm not sure why they're played sometimes.
Right.
It's interesting. And black's thinking, which is, e takes f5 was an obvious move, I think, to my mind. So interesting. Like I said, Chiron has a way of, so knight e4, of course, and
look at that. I mean, the rook's gonna have to go to. Oh wow.
Well, back to c4 maybe, and then knight d6, rook d4.
Oh, look at that! Look at that move.
Does that work? Rook d2? I didn't see that, folks.
Yeah.
Rook d2, rook c4, rook d5, rook e4 check, king d3. White's going to take on d6. White's better here, I think. So rook d2. Rook c4, rook d5, rook e4 check, and then king d3. Oh, maybe then king d2, king f3. Yeah, king f3. And rook d4 can be met by rook takes d4 and king e4. King f7, king, yeah. So white would be winning that, I think.
And Alexi's right. A lot of tactics going on here.
So
let me check in on Elliot's game real quick, because a position we looked at that might come up has come up, and here we are.
Yeah, I was wondering about this. I thought this looked very risky. I mean, queen f4 check, king e6 is walking the tightrope, but it's Elliot plays an incredibly enterprising style nowadays, where he's just willing to try all kinds of crazy stuff. Sometimes he gets punished for it, but it's interesting. I don't see a clear win after either rook or queen to f4 check, king e6. Neither do I see a sure draw for white. Rook f4, king e6, queen f4, king e6, the king runs away. Wow. Something else. And meanwhile, black is going to play what? Pawn a5, pawn a4, pawn a3, and not mind that his king gets chased around the board. Elliot's has developed a sense of flow in his games, which is interesting, I think, as well. Interesting momentum. So king e6 is the move to play, the risky move to play for a win,
and it was played
without hesitation.
Right. It's been played with reckless abandon.
Right. And here, okay, so let's say white plays queen g4 check just for the heck of it.
Oh, wow.
Is black really gonna? Black can't play king d5 because of queen g7 check. All right.
So now he's freed up that bishop to come out.
Yeah.
G4 check, the knight to go to f3.
Yeah, so knight e5 looks like the move that kind of tries to cover everything. I mean, Elliot is taking a lot of risks here. This is looking, Elliot went to my class, took my class the other day on the World Championship matches. And we went over a game that this is reminding me of, the Schlechter-Lasker game, which was this wild game with the kings exposed and the pawn structures all fractured and everything like that, and tactics all over the place. And this kind of looks like that, like the Lasker-Schlechter game a lot.
So he should technically have some advantage having seen something like this.
It looks like knight e5 is the move that sort of covers everything, but black is walking the tightrope here. I mean, Elliot's taking a lot of chances here. This is incredibly risky.
Let's check in on Kyron Griffith's game here.
Great game, though. Yeah, this is what happened, and now, okay, so rook c3 check. This is a nice fighting game. This has been a really nice fighting game. Got to hand it to Black for trying something here, even if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, he's definitely a player like that. He's not short on confidence.
Right. And White's, had an idea here and is carried through with it. So it's been, yeah.
All right.
White sort of trying to combine some mating threats here as well. Black's getting some room for the rook. This is a very interesting game. Very, very interesting end game here.
This could be material for the end game lab sometime.
Yeah.
We'll stay on this game for a little bit.
Sure.
And for those, yeah, go ahead.
Taking it easy here with this F3 move. Just like, okay, you can't take my pawn. So what if Black, I think the king and pawn ending does not look good for Black at all. So Black needs to try to keep attacking these pawns or create a passed pawn himself. Suddenly it's looking difficult for Black, I would say.
I mean, it's almost like...
It's looking difficult for Black. The pawns are locked up on the queen side. No clear way for Black to make progress here. And
I'm looking like, are there any mate threats coming up with the king
pushing
up?
White can create some mate threats, yeah.
Let's check on Elliot's game and look at that craziness.
And then let's look at Carla.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Elliot plays F5, he takes F5 check, and this game is just, yikes, coming up is bishop C4 check. Did Elliot overlook that? That's one of those, he goes back with the king, so he's giving up 2 pawns. Yikes.
And look at all the king on F1, like completely protected.
Yeah, now White can just take on G6.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that looks the simplest.
Actually,
Black has gone through too many gyrations here. I mean, bishop C4 and bishop E6 looks really strong too. That looks like it would almost wrap the game up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no checks. No checks. No.
Black is in trouble here. Alexi's asking us to back up. I mean, White played F5 instead of my recommendation of 95. Maybe it wasn't any good.
So we saw from this Queen F4. And then
Black maybe should have gone King G7.
So this is where we last saw with that took the pawn, and that was the move because he played F5. Yeah,
that's just crazy. Yeah, 95 Rook H5 is pointed out by Joseph Trulson. That might be correct.
Joseph Max in the chat. Let's check. Let's go back to Kyron's game here.
Elliot's in trouble.
Yeah.
Playing like a madman. So White's just sort of the status quo here. Both players have sort of kept the status quo going here. I still think White looks better here. But he doesn't want to give up any kingside pawns. So maybe he's going to start the advance of these pawns, G5, H4, H5, and see what happens.
Let's take a look at Carla's game.
Black's still in trouble.
Pranav Sairam and Carla Heredia.
Yeah, so this is just... Nobody is better here.
All right.
And it could transform into a black advantage, maybe, if the black squared bishops got traded. And Yeah, Elliot just like the last moves, his king isn't even any safer after this, and it's been a bit of a disaster for Black. Black is actually pawned down now.
Yeah.
Bishop takes. Bishop g6 would almost work. Maybe it does work as a way to regain. I mean, this game is just so wild. If queen g4, queen e6.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, if you go bishop g4, and then even if you go e6, queen d6.
Yeah, that's crushing. Absolutely. So bishop g4 just kind of finishes the game here. Yikes! Elliot just got outplayed by his own by himself. He has nobody but himself to blame for this one.
I think he may have thought e6 was something because the bishop's covering the rook check on h7, but pushing e6 leaves open queen d6.
There's people using the engine in the chat.
Who's using the engine? Only Mac. Only a non-true mechanics player uses the engine in the chat. Max.
Oh, okay. So rook h8, bishop e8. Is Black actually? And then bishop h5. Can that really work? Maybe. So rook h8 check, bishop e8, bishop h5, king. Can the king actually come up to g7? And queen d2 check? I don't know. My head is spinning.
What about queen d2 check? Did you just say that?
Well, then the king could go back to c7.
And then queen d7 check.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good. that looks pretty good, Abel.
No engine, Max.
No engine. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
No engine there.
Very good. Yeah, of course. Well, Elliot is just,
Yeah, and his opponent,
I like your
Arul, is no joke. I knew that this could be possible because he's a tough player.
Sure.
I mean, he was on a team that won the U.S. Amateur West just a few years ago.
Right.
So he's played in high level.
I think Elliot just flirted with disaster in this game. I mean, it's just...
Let's do a quick peek on Kyron Griffith's game here, who's slowly, incrementally trying to build positional advantage.
Yeah, Black needs a pass pawn, but it's not so easy to get. Now he's trying a defense on the ranks, saying, and this is probably the only way for Black to play, is to try to sort of hold the fort here. I have a feeling White should be able to find a way in with the massive pawns on the king side. It's been an interesting game. How did Mike Walder do?
Yeah, I was having trouble pulling up his game, actually. If anybody knows, Judith, how's Walder's game going?
I think White's winning here.
There.
This is tough, though. This is yeah.
Going quickly back to this game here with Elliot.
Skating on ice here. Oh, bishop d7 check. Queen d2 check, king e8, bishop d7 check. I guess coming up is bishop takes c6. Up a piece. I think black has nothing.
Can you go queen f4?
I mean, just bishop takes
something.
d6.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lag on my part. I'm waiting for. Oh, we place queen f4 check. Same difference. Maybe this is even better. Now bishop c6. Then rook f8. Okay, so queen h6 check first. Oof. And white's playing for mate here.
Yeah.
With queen. Yeah, this is
yeah.
mate. King e5.
Queen g5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played it fast, so Arul calculated this.
Yeah, Elliot played for the loss. That's something that you've got to try to avoid doing.
Arul Viswanathan, big win.
That's just kind of it's easy to do sometimes. Just kind of like fall into a hole.
Yeah.
There's the hole. I see it, but I'm going to fall into it.
But he did it trying to win the game, right?
It looked more like momentum, like you lose your objectivity is what happens, and you just follow through up on your. I had a very funny game once that I lost, and it was like I made a miscalculation that just lost a piece, and I just went through with it anyway, and then just resigned because it was like. You've got to figure out not to do that. It can be a lifelong habit.
So what is the plan here?
Well, Karen's moving around and, hoping for a mistake from black, an obvious mistake. And in the meantime, going to try different things to get through here. Black's passive defense has not helped out here, and this is looking worse and worse and worse now for black.
Oof.
If rook b7, rook c6.
Rook c6, yeah.
So this is just black's passive defense has not worked out.
Yeah.
And it rarely does in rook and pawn endings. And this is just looking worse and worse and worse.
This is worser.
Worser.
Yeah, it's looking worser as it goes. Speaking of, just real quick, since we're talking about rook endings, this is Theo Biot. Oh, but he's up a lot here. A couple of pawns.
Well, rook and pawn endings, so they can be interesting.
Actually,
if king takes e5, rook takes e3, then maybe rook e5, that would win. White's going to be 2 pawns up there. That's simplest win. King takes 5.
Going back to this game, because this is board 2.
Well, this passive defense idea just didn't cut the mustard, and White's going to have pretty soon probably a 3-1 majority on the king side.
And Kyron is 1.
Yeah.
Nicholas resigned.
This is pretty hopeless.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even see what black can do.
Nice
King
win.
f7, pawn to g6 check even, or pawn to f6. Both would win without too much difficulty.
Nice win for Kyron.
Cut the mustard, yeah. And black has achieved something a little bit in this game now, which is the exchange of dark squared bishops. And I'm having a lag. I might have to redo my.
No,
maybe.
You're right. No, if you're seeing, that's where we're at.
Okay. So black's gotten something here. If the queens came off, black would be with the. Although white has the possibility of playing b4, b5, even in an endgame. Black just doesn't quite have enough here for a solid advantage, I would say.
Look at this game. Ashik Uzman and Alex Chin.
Oh, these are two good players.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
This is a wild game. I mean, this is very unbalanced position here. Black has sort of the more solid game, but white has the two bishops.
And there's a forthcoming article, part 2 of Chess and Golf is coming out soon.
Wow.
And Alex Chin, I think, is a part of that. Apparently, he plays on the University of San Francisco golf team.
Whoa.
So he is a golfer.
Golf and chess, who would have known, you know? I mean, I wouldn't know whatever the iron thing is, you know.
The iron, the club, the wood, the woods.
A club from an iron.
The wood, the iron, the putter, the bat.
Right.
So just a few games remaining here. This is the top board in the under 1800 section, and Black did win that piece, but White is continuing to fight. But
this is all going all Black's way for sure. Still some issues, of course. There always will be, but
always issues.
Like pawn to d4 is good. I guess queen e4 then threatens pawn h7 and pawn at b7. I mean, White's doing what, you know, like you said, trying to throw some dust in
the face. You're trying to kick some dirt in the face.
I mean, queen e4, queen d5, queen h7, then you push pawn d3. Oh, white
lost to one of the pawns. It seems like
still winning, but has. Yeah, I mean, there was a chance to take off both Black pawns and be left with two pawns, which is a d pawn and a g pawn, which would have been an easy win. This is, White's trying to do something with the g pawn.
And if all those central pawns come off, this is a drawn game, right? Theoretically.
Yes, that's right. So, but White, I mean, so king d5, rook e3, and then rook e7, and that seems to just, and then if rook g3, that's the only thing you have to look at. Now rook e7, rook g3, and then White could have achieved this without losing the g pawn. Just the White.
But now might White be winning now? Because the king is cut off.
Yeah. If Black could play rook f7 here, there's no third line defense here.
So in a position like this, does the Black rook have to come from behind, not in front?
Well, I mean, Black's king is too far away here
and completely cut off.
And the only chance in these kind of positions is usually to offer the exchange of rooks, and then achieve some kind of draw that way. But I mean, Black is not going to get anywhere with this kind of defense.
And here is the book position right here.
Yeah, it's the Lucena position.
And we're gonna see it in full force right here. Building the bridge and all of that good stuff.
The bridge is already built.
Yeah.
Rook on f4. It's routine.
Perfectly placed, yeah.
Threatening rook f5 and rook g5. King g5
there
now.
There it is. Yeah. There it is. Well done by Theo, but expected because for sure he knows how to do this.
It's interesting. If you think of the Lucina position as a chess study, first, right, white to play and win, then you can appreciate the value of chess studies. They as an intrinsic value because they the Lucina positions probably reach thousands of times a day, just in chess clubs and online, So it's got some value. This is of course a draw. This is a funny game, and Carla's done really well here.
She's done really well, but I'm hoping her stubbornness doesn't get the best of her because she has 25 seconds left on her clock.
And so after King E5, King E3, she's thinking of playing pawn to E3 check, and maybe she should have. We'll leave that to another day. It was possible to play E3 check, and then bishop takes G2, but she's decided to go this route. Is this a win for black? I mean, I'm not sure. You can't play bishop to B5, I don't think, because bishop takes B5 and then pawn to C6 takes A6. Yeah.
I mean, she has flagged in this tournament.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
No, she's flagged in the previous round last week.
Oh.
So you just want to watch that. She's down to 12 seconds. She's just got to make sure she plays within that 2-second increment.
Oh, white has I think this is a draw. And white can play pawn to C6 here and then take on A6. Yeah. I mean, that's very dangerous for black. That's extremely dangerous for black.
That's actually what happened. Yeah, actually, is white winning now?
This looks to me like a win now for white. This was this was just kind of black falling apart, I think, in this game. I think bishop.
And the king's gonna race over to cover that, right? Yeah,
well,
and Kyron's in the chat. Yeah, white's just winning. It appears.
Looks that way to me. Yeah, it looked like bishop b7 and then just make a queen. White has given black a chance here to get back in the game, as Alexi pointed out.
So
although I guess I'm wrong too, because Kyron's in there with bishop, allows black king to run back in time. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. In fact, the white bishop is better placed here. Does white miss king c5 there, and then b5? G4 is an odd move, incredibly odd move.
E3.
Yeah, well, is black just running out of moves? Oh yeah, coming up is king f6, king g7. I'm getting a little tired here. Black's trying to distract white, but it won't be for long. So maybe this is just another simple way for white to win.
There it is.
Bishop f3, whammo.
Yeah.
A7, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Tough one for Carla right there.
Yeah. Carla.
And Alex Chin and Ashik drew their game here. I think that might be all the games for the round.
Tough games.
tough games.
Yeah.
And Kyron Griffith.
I felt like I feel more tired than the players themselves. So I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, go ahead and take a break.
Do you need to take a break first? Do you want to take a break?
No, go ahead. Go ahead real quick, and then I'll take one after you get back. So the next round will start in about 13 minutes. That was actually a long round.
All right, so give me 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give you 7. Take your time. Take no rush.
All right.
So I think all the games are in the books. Judith will confirm whether that's true. And running through some of the results that we know, Rui Yang Yan and Alexander Lenderman drew on board 1. It was kind of like an early draw, but it looked like Rui's position was a little bit better. But it looks like it was a gentleman's draw. But board 2, Kyron Griffith defeated Nicholas Wang. Very well played. Arul Viswanathan upsets Elliot Winslow on board 3 in a very sharp game. Well played by Arul. I didn't get the result of Michael Walder's. Let me look to see if I can find that. Michael Walder, it looks like Walder won. So he won his game. So actually, the possibility exists that Michael Walder could be facing, it'll be Arul or Michael Walder, I think, taking on Lenderman. And then I think the other player will take on Rui. So interesting to see how that pairing will come out. Because I think Rui has a good chance, if she can win her final round, to take clear second in the tournament, which would be an outstanding result and a fantastic result for her, especially going into the U.S. Cadet starting this Friday. So for anyone joining us, thank you. Round 5 is in the books of the Tuesday night marathon. Do we have the pairings up already? Let's see here. Not quite yet. So let me put it in the chat for those of you that want to follow the pairings and the standings. That is the site to look at when they go up. When they go up, we'll announce it on the air. Round 6, the final round of the Tuesday Night Marathon, starts at 8 p.m. And next Tuesday, we're going to have a break. We will not have the Tuesday Night Marathon. We'll probably run a free tournament, marathon that day. And the following Tuesday in October, we're going to do an 8-round Tuesday Night Marathon, USCF rated, manually paired, 1 open section over 4 weeks, 8 rounds, going old school here, back to the traditional marathon. So we will have G35 plus 2 starting October, I believe 8th is the date. Let me take a look. October 6th. So October 6th. 8 rounds, Tuesday Night Marathon, 1 open section. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's actually been a while since we've had a 1 open section marathon. We actually had planned to do that live. We had it scheduled. It was around this time, actually, the summer or the fall. We had planned to do a 1 open section marathon, and obviously, I guess it is happening, except it's happening online. So that'll be exciting. 4 weeks of action in October, and we're looking forward to that. And actually, there's no reason I cannot put that in the chat. So if you are interested in participating in that, all the information is right there. Being told we're having a little tech issue, and we'll be posting everything soon. I have a 100% confidence in Judith resolving that. And I just want to take the opportunity to give props to Judith Starry. She is the chief TD, doing the manual pairing and updating the standings and doing all of that, monitoring the Zoom helpline. If any player has any kind of issues online, they can just dial up the Zoom, and she is the help desk. So she does a lot every Tuesday. So thank you to her. Props to her for all that work. And busy week of chess, but really exciting for us to be doing the cadet this weekend. And this Friday, we will have our Mechanics Chess Social. We will have Michelle Martinez from Chess Kid. She's out of Arizona. She's really busy with Chess Kid, and she's actually the one that runs the games through Fair Play for us for the Scholastic events. So we'll be chatting with Michelle about what's going on with Chess Kid and what it's like. Is Chess Kid experiencing a big boom due to the increase in the online activity? And maybe we'll ask about Arizona chess, because she's a USCF delegate from Arizona, along with Martha Underwood. So this Friday, Mechanics Chess Social with Michelle Martinez. So let me do a check here. 6th round of the TNM will be starting around 8 pretty soon. Let me just check. And we're still waiting for that to come up. So yeah, we got to figure out what we're going to do in October, because we've had a lot of big events over the summer. We had the Blitz Tournament of the Americas, Summer Chess Festival. I think, I guess I could take the opportunity to announce right now. So the Mechanics Institute will be participating in Season 2 of the Chess.com Clubs League. So we will be back doing that, and we're looking forward to it. Paul is back with us. I was just saying we're one of the teams participating in Season 2 of the Chess.com Clubs League, so we're looking forward to that. And I actually want to give props. There is a Northern California team participating in the States Cup. And Josiah Stearman's the captain of that, and there's a lot of mechanics players that are participating. Elliot Winslow, Kyron Griffith.
What is the States Cup?
It's a tournament put together by someone in Minnesota. I forget his name, but he reached out to the state affiliate, looking to put together a team. And I don't know what happened with our state affiliate, which is CalChess, in terms of putting together that team, but
they did.
I don't think they did. I think Josiah said, "Hey, I can captain a team and put everyone together," and they worked together. And
a lot of work.
I think Derek Wu's part of that team, and Elliot and Kyron, and Kyron Rui played too.
And Kyron just put up the link to the round 3. Wow, Derek O'Connor is a streamer, and so is Kevin Yanofsky.
Yeah, and I know Derek O'Connor really well. He did some coaching for us in mechanics, and he's done a lot of mechanics, played in mechanics. So, it's nice to see him active. I wonder if he's still in San Diego, because I know he moved to the SoCal area, I think. So.
Wow.
But I thought he was coming back. I remember him telling me that he was coming back to Northern Cal. So I don't know if he's done that. Is Derek still in SoCal, or did he come back? But that
sounds like
Derek.
A strong team. So what is it? All states are playing against each other? What is the format?
Yeah, it's sort of like all the states, and I don't know how many teams they have. Do they have like 22 or something? So it's like the Chess.com Clubs League. And from what I saw, I think 30 states, what I saw is that the 4 players, they have to combine to be under 2,200, just like the U.S. amateur team. So I think that's how they field the players. So Judith says the pairings are up, but the formatting sucks. So
my question is, what are they playing for? Is there just the honor of being the best state in the nation?
Fortune and glory.
Yeah.
Just like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, fortune and glory.
When are there going to be like $10,000 prizes for 10th place in chess?
When Rex Sinquefield moves to San Francisco, probably.
I mean, we can compare chess and golf all we want, but like, where's the money in chess that there is in golf? I mean, Alexei, come on, let's straighten these two so that they're on a parallel.
So we got the pairings up for the final round. So board 1, Alexander Lenderman is white against Michael Walder. Board 2, Rui Yang Yan is white against Kyron Griffith. And board 3, Pranav Sairam against Arul Viswanathan, which is a huge matchup, actually. And, a lot of good... Wow, Nicholas Wang against Ayan Zaman. Ashik Uzman against Theo Biasis. Felix German against Alex Chin. So we got some fantastic matchups to follow. And Yali Perlman on board 1 of the under 1800 against Rama Cheetah.
Okay.
So that should be good. And Marina Zhao against Pranav.
And who's Lenderman playing again?
Michael Walder.
Oh, okay. Michael, this is your chance.
This is it right here. So games will be starting pretty soon. So I'll let me clear out my box here.
I think I remember one year I was looking at the PGA Tour winner, 50th place was making more money than any chess player could ever dream of. I think on 50th, the tour.
50th place was making more than the U.S. Open winner of chess.
Yeah, it's like it's just ridiculous the difference in.
All right, good luck, Michael.
Michael, take it to him.
We're pulling for you. He beat me on Saturday. Yeah, he played Lenderman Saturday in the Rapid.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the long time control is going to make a difference. So for those of you just joining, the games will be starting soon. Board 1, Alexander Lenderman against Michael Walder. Board 2, Rui Yang Yan against Kyron Griffith. And board 3, Pranav Sairam against Arul Viswanathan. 4,
I'll tell you.
Felix German against Alex Chin. Board 5, Ashik Uzman against Theo Biasis. And 6, Nicholas Wang against Ayan Zaman.
This is a great practice for Roy for the
fantastic.
Fantastic. Play Lenderman to an easy draw, really. I mean, where he was worried out of the opening, I think. And now she's got, I don't know. She didn't do too well against Kyron in the past, I think. So she's got to buckle up on her endgame play.
So we wait for the games to start here.
Good matchups. And is this the last round?
This is the last round of the tournament.
And when is the TNM starting up again?
October 6th, and it's going to be It's going to be an 8-round, 1 open section TNM.
Wow. Okay.
So kind of looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of action. And Judith. I think she's checking the emails and seeing the messages there. So we're waiting for round 8. And the games are starting, so we'll be looking for the games here. Actually, let's see if one of the games is here. Let's see here. All right, here we go.
So what's the standings here? Lenderman is still a half a point ahead of Roy, correct?
Yes.
Has anybody caught Roy?
Let me check the standings there because I don't think.
What are the standings going into the? Oh, I see them. They're on the.
Yeah, they're updated, but I think Rui's in a good position.
Oh, she must be tied for second through something.
Actually, let me. Are the standings up? Oh, there they are. Yeah. No, she's got 4 points. Arul Viswanathan, Michael Walder, Rui, and Kyron all have 4. But actually, the person that's sitting in probably the best position to get to 5 is probably Arul, because Arul is playing Pranav Siram, and Rui and Kyron are playing each other, and that's going to be a tough match. So Arul's kind of sort of the lucky one here who's got probably the best opportunity, the easiest pathway to 5 of the players that have 4.
And of course, Lenderman is the only 4.5, right?
4.5, the only 4.5. So he's a half point ahead of the field. All right, let me find games.
If I wanted to be any player other than Lenderman right now, I'd want to be the player playing Lenderman.
Well, if you're looking to win, right?
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Let me pull up a bunch of games here, and the games are afoot.
We've got Kyron's Kiro Khan's defense going here.
Yeah, I've been seeing the Karo Khan a lot by a lot of players. I feel like more lately than I've noticed for a while. Why is that?
I don't know. In the it takes a certain character to play the Kiro Khan. I never played it with Black or the French defense. I came from the Fisher school, Sicilians and that kind of thing. Modern defenses and perk defenses and stuff like that.
Let me go. I'm still looking
those
for...
kind of hedgehoggy Black positions with out of the Kiro Khan and stuff are not my style.
I'll wait for the match link to show up. That's what I'm waiting for. All right.
Are we still waiting for Lenderman Walder?
I think that game started, but I'm just waiting for the match link
okay.
so I can pull it up. So,
how about Winslow? Who's he playing today?
Oh yeah, because he lost that round.
He lost. He's out of contention.
Oh, I think he took a bye, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he took a bye for that round. So he's not playing in this round.
Okay. Well, we'll miss him.
Yeah, he's always got the fighting spirit.
And we're waiting for F-Pawn to come back, too.
Yeah, he's always jumping in the last rounds. Oops.
So we're still waiting for board 1 here, huh?
Well, the match has started.
Or board 2?
Well, here, let me go to Ruiz while I work on something.
Yeah, let's look at this. Knight b4 is a nice move. This is going to guarantee Black an even, the completely even game here. And Roy's gotten nothing out of this opening. I'd be worried if I was black, if I was white now. This is this kind of routine play here with the, this is slightly better for black, this position. With the queen side, pawn b5, b4 idea here. Now, Roy found herself in a similar pawn structure, I think, against Kyron in the past. This is, trying to defend these positions is no joke. It's not easy for white here. So, are we still waiting for the Lenderman game?
I am working on that right now, Paul.
Okay. Yeah. So if white plays bishop g5 and bishop takes f6 at some point, then the white knight has not really a good square to end up on, and the position just sort of favors black here.
That's weird.
Funny that Roy should go into these positions. It's not good.
There it is. All right.
Have these kinds of positions.
Okay, I think I got it. Boom, there we go.
Michael Walder versus Alexander Lenderman. Okay. So this is one of those old Maroczy binds where black plays e5 instead of retreating the knight.
Yep,
Accelerated fianchetto.
That is exactly it. Accelerated Sicilian.
Fianchetto. This is an old variation that's supposed to be okay for black, I think.
Breyer variation, it says.
Yeah. I mean, there's theory here, and I think it's supposed to be okay for black. It's difficult, Black is just going to keep that knight on d4, and in order for white to dislodge it, I guess black is, going to try to get counterplay with f5, rook c8, maybe pressure on the c file. I used to play this variation without e5. I do that knight e6 business that Petrosian played.
Knight e6 with the idea of?
Instead of e5, black playing e5. Back on the ninth move. There's a kind of a fork in the road there.
Oh wow! Let me just flip to this game just because. So this is Nicholas Wang and Ayan Zaman.
You gotta love that knight at g7. It's taking a whole piece, and what is black gonna do if black plays king f8?
Well, white is up a piece right now. So
right.
Yeah.
Somehow it looks like it should work out for white, I would imagine.
Yeah.
King f8. Black goes this way. I guess didn't like king f8, bishop h6. The knight is trapped.
Look at this game here. Ashik Uzman.
Black's walking a tightrope here.
Ashik Uzman and Theo Biasis. The king's on e3 on move 10.
Black looks good here with bishop g4 or something coming up here. Yeah, I'm not sure how the king ended up on e3.
Move 10, king e3.
This has got to be good for black. We're going to require some exact play, but black has the two bishops as well, so maybe just retreating to e7 is not going to be bad. Of course, you want to throw in rook e8 check first.
So this is board one of the under 1800 with Yali Perlman as white against Ramachita.
Black is taking some big risks here. I mean, white can play pawn e5. I mean, that looks close to decisive. Well, maybe not. Bishop e5.
We have
Castles.
courage on the chessboard on board 1 as Michael Walder has played f5.
Yeah, well, this is what you do in this position. Well, you don't want something horrible happening to you positionally. Is white going to try bishop takes d4 and knight to e2 here?
And this is the final round. Alexander Lenderman's a half point ahead of the field at 4.5, but there's a lot of players at 4 trying to move up the ladder.
This is a tough little position. I mean, if white tries bishop to sort of, clarify things with bishop d4, e takes d4, knight e2, maybe black could try f4 or even d5 in that position.
He took the knight.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
And then knight e2, you're saying? Let's take a look at Rui and Kyron.
So this has been a little bit interesting. I mean, in the sense that Kyron's plays kind of developed slowly, and the bishops got traded, and white's definitely going for pawn f5 here. It's going to depend if white can sort of, these positions can be difficult to hold. If the queens come off, and then black sometimes retains an advantage in these positions with the queen side attack, b5, b4. But a lot depends on what happens with white trying to sort of blow black away by playing f5, maybe. I'm not sure.
So
various things can happen here.
I'm forced to take a look at this game. So this is Nicholas Wang and Ayan Zaman. It sort of looks like something out of a Fisher Random.
Black just hung his queen. I mean, queen h5 looked like a kind of a good move because it attacks the bishop, but white can just play knight takes h5.
And he seems to be thinking about it,
Yeah, I mean, what's white going to do? Play queen to d2 to protect the bishop? What we're looking at here is the twilight zone. Chess in the twilight zone here.
Yeah, so let's.
If white doesn't see knight h5 right now, maybe he'll never see it and play queen g2.
Yeah, that's what happened, just straight up.
He just straight up played this queen h5. We're looking at chess in the twilight zone here, folks. Double blind spot here.
See, the funny
White
things
doesn't see knight h5 now, probably won't see it at all.
Can that possibly be, right? Is it a straight out blind spot?
Black played queen h5.
Did not.
Black played queen h5. Yeah. See, black played queen h5 with the idea of attacking the bishop, and now white makes the same mistake by playing queen. This is a very kind of a case of double chess blindness.
But did that actually happen? He literally just missed the queen hanging because he was looking at something else.
Well, maybe they were both taught that knights can't move backwards.
Or can it be a gentlemanly play, Hey, you hung your queen. I know you didn't mean it. I'm gonna go.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go queen d2, and I'm gonna beat you anyway. No.
This looks to me like one of those things that I was just talking about, where black plays queen h5, the idea of attacking the bishop, and white plays queen d2, defending it, and sort of falling in with the blindness here.
So all in the family.
Actually, I think black. Yeah, this is a good point. If this continues for another move or two, we're really going to have to.
Is there any chance? Yeah, like you're saying that the pieces are in such unusual positions that you're just sort of not thinking.
I think black will realize that the queen's hanging. That's my guess. I'm going to predict that black will move the queen.
Well, look at this game. We'll keep tabs on this. This is the other Ashik Uzman and Theo Biasis. And the king's been dancing all over the board here for white.
No, white is in serious trouble here, obviously. A pawn down. And black is just in total control here with that beautiful knight at d4.
And it was noticed. Black plays queen h4.
In that other game.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
And that move is ridiculous as well, because white plays trapped. Bishop 5 and traps the queen. Ion really just lost his marbles there for a minute.
I think this is what happens when you have to do distance learning at school all day, and then you're playing chess at night. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, queen h4 was pretty obvious that the queen was going to be close to getting trapped here.
All right, onward to board one.
This game was both players can, but Nicholas will have to tell us one day why he didn't take the queen.
Look at this.
Yeah, Michael Walter is playing, the classic kind of attack with the two bishops here. I guess pawn f4, then the rook could maybe come up to the third rank. Black's got some cheapo potential. This is how you play against a grandmaster. You take the fight to them no matter what. Like if knight d6, then maybe bishop takes g2, right? And then you have a draw. King takes g2, queen g4 check, and queen and you draw.
Okay, we have a fantastic matchup here. I have to get to.
We're seeing some funny stuff here. Have I frozen?
No, I don't think so.
On the Twitch, I'm seeing us both frozen. Oh no, now we're moving. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you're finding it as fun as Abel and I while going over the games of our club players as they take on super grandmasters like Lenderman.
Oh, this is like weird. I got some how did that happen? I gotta fix some stuff here.
Alexi, too bad we can't see your rabbit. That was a participant in my class the other day.
Oh, I know what happened. I'm doing a little surgery here. So
I'm wondering if Lenderman is thinking of allowing a draw there in that position. We have this classic game. Judith Starry is playing.
Martin Camacho against Judith Starry. I had to do a check-in because every time she plays, we got to do...
Judith, you're solid. Just continue to play solidly.
All right, back to board one where it looks like Michael Walder's trying to create some opportunities, and
I want to see Lenderman go down. I'm not an what do you say, a commentator that's going to be neutral in this situation.
That's good. No,
Michael Walter, go for it.
We love the bias.
Yeah, let's see the game.
Let's check in on board 2 with Rui and Kyron.
I think I'm like hugely lagging here.
Well, it takes time.
Refresh.
Yeah, refresh it. I just made the transition, so.
No, but I'm lagging. I'm still on Judith and Kama-chan.
You're still on
Judith's game.
So we have Rui and Kyron here. Actually,
I've got a 27-second commercial.
So what's the Twitch commercial today? Buffalo Wild Wings or
looks like some cartoons. Capital One.
Capital One.
Yeah. Upgrade. They're telling us to upgrade. Okay, I'm back.
Flipping back to Lenderman Walder here.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, Black is threatening Bishop takes G2 with a draw. King G2, Queen G4 check. You know, maybe Lenderman is thinking about, forcing the issue, playing Knight G6. I don't think he'd want to allow that, but I mean, my guess is that White's original intention was to play something like F4 or F3, maybe F4. But then Black can play Rook E8 and Rook E3, or maybe Rook comes up to the 3rd rank and Rook over to G6. We'd have to sort of do some concrete calculations here. But it's a little dangerous for White, definitely, with the Black bishops so strong in this position. Lenderman's going to put in some time here and try to figure this out.
And he's already doing it. I mean, he's putting a lot of time just on this move.
Right. I mean, Queen H4 is, it's so Knight D6 allows Bishop G2. That I'm sure Lenderman's already kind of dismissed that. So it looks logical to play F4 or F3 to me, and then F4 being the more assertive move there. And then the question, then you're threatening Knight D6. So what's Black going to do? Rook F6 maybe, with the idea of playing Rook G6 and targeting G2, and then you can bring the other rook to E8. So, for example, F4, Rook F6. Queen F2, maybe even Black could play Rook G6 in that position, and if Queen takes H4, Rook G2 check, King H1, and Rook G4 check, and Walter checkmates Lenderman. that's a pretty
simple.
Yeah, that's a pretty variation. Probably wouldn't happen, but shows the kind of amateur thinking that I have sometimes.
Let me flip over to Rui and Kyron on board 2 here. And thank you everyone for following the Tuesday Night Marathon with us and being a part of our broadcast. And it's a lot of fun for me, Judith, Paul, to kind of have everyone come and activity in the chat and watching the games and following everything. So thanks for choosing mechanics and sticking with us and following all the action.
So I'm guessing White's going to play Rook D4 because a queen exchange, allowing a queen exchange is going to be a long defensive slog for White here. I mean, you might as well play rook d4 and then try to play f5 or something, because would be my guess. But look, I'm wrong. Queens come off, and I think this is tough for white now.
Where does white have to put that knight?
Yeah, I mean, even if the knight got to d4, black still is going to have a lot of pressure on the queen side.
Yeah.
And these positions they're known to be tough for white in general. And so this structure, I mean, it's not over. I mean, there's still a lot of play left, but of course, and white can try all kinds of things like g4, f5, and maybe that's the right way to play it.
So
the queen side is going to eventually crack in some way, usually.
And of course,
by black.
Someone knocking on
and
the door.
White's got to be prepared for that.
So Nicholas Wang won his game because he trapped the queen. We saw that.
Yeah.
And
that was an unfortunate game.
Nitish Nathan won a game here against Thomas Mazer. So let me just flip to that. I got to this position that's just totally crushing.
Okay.
So that's where that
is.
Indeed.
Yeah, the rook is lost in the corner.
So let's do a check-in here on this game. It's board 3. We haven't looked at that yet, between Pranav Sairam, who's white, against Arul Viswanathan. Wow, we got the 2 bishops and a rook against the 2 rooks.
Looking good for the bishops, I would say.
And
with that passed pawn, that passed pawn will go far, And unless there's going to be tactics, but this has got to be close to winning for white.
And Pranav Sairam has 3.5 points, so if he's able to at least get a draw, that keeps one 4-point player away from getting to 5.
I think white is probably winning this.
Oh wow! And it seems like black is playing a little too fast here, but.
Yeah, his only chance is to play f5, f4, but as soon as black plays f5, white's going to play bishop e5 anyway, just in a positional sense, and there's too much. If I was white, I would have been tempted to keep the bishop on c4, but black has got to succumb here in one way or another. This is just...
And Theo Biasis has... wow, look at this. This is just...
And white is winning this easily now.
Yeah, look at that. H7, right?
Yeah, black is just not... There's been no resistance at all here. If there was any possible anyway.
And this is too bad, because Arul was actually prime position, right, to at least try to get to 5-0. Not that Pranav is an easy win.
I don't know what happened, but Pranav has just outplayed him completely.
Yeah,
obviously, to get to this position. So.
All right. Well, let's.
D7. Rook has to go where, to A8, and then Bishop D5. Wins right away.
Yeah. Well.
Or bishop to d5 just wins the rook.
Let's go.
So this game is completely over.
So back to board 1. F3 was played.
All right, so now Michael can definitely force f4 by playing bishop h6, but also just rook e. Well, okay, white wants to play knight d6, and black is faced with a little bit of a issue here. You can force white to play f4 by playing bishop h6 probably, because I don't think white wants to allow bishop e3. Allowing bishop e3 and then pawn f4, that would be just horrible, I think. So bishop h6, f4, and then rook f6. I mean, I guess then white can take on d4, and that's the difference. And on rook g6, white can play knight f3. So white's kind of able to hold on there a little bit. But then even then, black could play queen takes f4. That might not be such a bad end game. Rook f6. Yes, rook f6. Sure. Maybe queen f2.
And Michael's going to want to keep the queen on the board at all costs.
Yeah, I think Michael wants to at least keep the queens on the board until unless a queen exchange will be okay for him. Right? Right now, it doesn't look like it. Like rook f6, queen f2, black's pieces would be kind of awkwardly placed if the queens came off right there, and you know the pawn at d4 is loose. I mean, there's a lot of things kind of hanging in the air here and making it really difficult to, and this is where I'll worry about Michael, you know, or myself, or any player that, you know, not in Linderman's class, of sort of treading these waters where, you know, you make one or two inaccurate moves and you find yourself with your back against the wall. You've got to be, you know, looks to me like somebody like Kasparov or another grandmaster would be able to make something out of black's position here. But, you know, you need the right precise order of moves. And, you know, white can also be thinking about playing pawn to g3 here. Maybe. I don't know.
Let's do a quick check on Rui and Kyron.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just black is better, and that's kind of the bottom line here. Black and double rooks on the c file, played b5, b4. You know, start advancing pawns on the queen side. White needs to, you know, try to find some tactics, maybe being able to play f5 or g4 and f5, or because you can't really stop the queenside avalanche, the queenside minority attack here, and it's going to loosen white up over there. Here it comes.
Yeah, with b5.
So, you know, and black's knight has these nice squares like b6, c5, e4, you know. I mean, it's true, white's knight looks pretty on d4, but really after that, you know, black can work on undermining the pawn structure on the queen side. So, you know, combined with this other game that we saw Kyron beat Rui about a month ago, I'm not sure that he's going to win here, but, you know, Rui is getting kind of a lesson in these structures. You know, these kind of structures are very important to figure out and to know how to play, both offensively and defensively, and so that you can, you know, make the decision to enter into these positions or not. They're often, you know, very telling of the strengths of the players, you know, what happens in these kind of games.
Yeah, because I think at this level,
a lot of players, amateurs, would look at white's game and think white was better, you know, because of that pawn at e5.
Right.
Yeah, Nimzovich Capablanca, exactly. Yeah, that was the game.
Christian Clemens in the chat.
Yeah. Like I said, you can look at this game, look at this position, and like a lot of amateurs would think that white was better, but it's actually black that's better.
Let's go back to board one.
So rook f6 was played like Alexei recommended, and then queen f2, queen h5. Yeah, I guess black doesn't mind giving up the, I mean, the pawn at d4 is kind of the sacrificial lamb here, or whatever. Black is going for the active play, but I think white should be happy to play knight takes d4, I would imagine. Maybe rook d6 then? I don't know. Black is going for the tactics.
Oh, happy birthday to Christian Clemens' mom right there. So he took the buy so he can do that. Judith's in the chat, but she's playing a game, so I'm trying to give her some good advice to stick to the game. Let's see how she's doing. Martin Camacho and the doctor is black.
Complex.
We have to use words that don't give anything. Let me go back to Rui's game.
It is
here.
complex, though. I'm not saying anything that's not true here. Chiron's pouring on a little queenside pressure here.
Yeah. Feel it.
Yeah, I mean, like Christian said, these positions are kind of known, and Nimzovich Capablanca is one example of that. I mean, yeah. How's board one going?
Yeah, I'm just switching to that. It looks like Walder plays Queen H5.
Yeah. So Alexander's like, why not? Why can I not take this pawn? Knight takes d4. Okay, he leaves it there. He's going for the centralizing move here. I don't, if I was black, I would have tried to activate that black squared bishop, I think. So, black is losing some coordination here. Rook h6 can be met by h3. And then maybe rook g6 and then king h1 and then I don't know. Yeah. I think black needed to try to get that bishop to h6 and to e3 maybe. It needed to provoke white to play pawn f4. I think that's what's missing here. I think that would have really increased the potential of black's position. Getting a little dodgy for black here.
So let's do a little check-in on the top board in the under 1800 section. And Yali Danzig Perlman is white against Ramachita. And actually, I think in that section, Yali, who is white, has 4.5, the only player with 4.5. And Pranav Pradeep is the only player with 4, and Ramachita and a few others are with 3.5. So
black seems to be in trouble here. Down. He's a piece down, and there's threats on g5.
He's a piece down, but he's got looks like he's got 3 pawns for it.
Well, coming up now is queen g5 check. It just doesn't. G5. And that's an easy move to see, unless queen h6 is even stronger. But which it might be. Queen h6 looks pretty strong too. I mean, it looks to me like white is winning this without too much problem.
All right, back to 1. And both the players using about the same amount of time.
Well, I like this centralizing, strengthening move here, rook e1. Sort of leaving the question of the d pawn open for a while, and maybe it prevents any bishop e5 move. Prepares rook e7, maybe, and ask black, like, what are you going to do? Bishop h6 can definitely be met by knight d4 now, with white's well protected over there, and rook h6 h3. I don't see it. I don't see a continuation. I like Alexei's idea: rook h6, king h8, and rook g8, and just like pour it on the king side.
Throw everything out there.
Yeah, and prepare for a nice sacrifice. That's what you have to try, and hope that and hope for the best.
All right, let's check it out on board 2.
We can see black just playing this kind of logical, marching up the queen side here, still trying to create a weakness.
This is the thing about these positions. I mean, it's going to take time, but feels confident in what's coming and what the plan is.
I mean, and maybe it's not a forced win, but black can play for a while. And this, black still has to do things like bring the king bring the king up a little bit. Black can also try things like pawn f6, and there's various ways of trying different things. Patience is often the thing that's required here for both players. Try to induce mistakes. Interesting.
All right, let's go back to board 1 here.
So I learned something about one of the World Championship matches. I'm not sure if it's a rumor or not, but apparently Alekhine and Bogolyubov were distant cousins. And during the second match, they just drank together and played chess and played a match for the World Championship match. That's a vicious rumor, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, but for chess players, it's probably not that far off from the truth.
Be true.
Yeah,
it could be true. So black digs his heels in and plays the other rook over to f8. It's still not clear what black is hoping to accomplish here.
Yeah, man, I would have thought clearing the path for g8 would have been something more.
Yeah, Alexei was giving some good advice, maybe king h8 and rook g8. But at some point, white's going to be like, I need to take this pawn at d4. I think maybe throw in rook e7 first. Maybe rook e7 is the move here. And keeping open the idea of, I'm not sure what black has. I'm failing to see even a 3-move threat. It's like rook h6, h3.
I mean, wouldn't bishop h6 been a more active move, because you're threatening bishop e3?
My thought was you'd play bishop h6 to induce f4, and then play rook f6 and swing it over, because you'd be attacking the g2 pawn. That was my thinking. And
congratulations to Yali Perlman, who won his game against Ramachita And,
Yeah.
I think that's clear first in the under 1800 section with
Is
5.5.
Ramachita's son playing in this tournament?
Aditya, let me look actually. See. Taking a look.
Yeah, so Lenderman's sitting on a nice, nice position here, I think. Here comes rookie 7.
Yeah, rookie 7 was played. He's not playing this TNM.
If Walter plays bishop c6, knight takes d4, rook h6,
Oops.
pawn h3. Oh, this is another tournament.
Yeah, I got it.
Bishop c6, knight d4, rook h6.
It just seems like the doubled up rooks for black are just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's like got defensive written all over it with like trying to play rook f7. It looks kind of neither here nor there. Michael's lost some momentum in the last 4 or 5 moves, 3 or 4 moves.
Let's check in on board 2 here.
Tough for black now. Okay, so this is interesting. Roy plays a4. So now black can play pawn to b4.
But then you're met with c4, right?
Yeah, but then knight b6. It looks like black is winning something there. I mean, pawn to b4. What exactly? Yeah, I'm not sure what white has here. I mean, I think this is, and if rook d3, knight c5 is crushing. So, c4 just looks like it runs right into knight b6, and that's practically resigns time right there. I mean, this has been a weakness we've seen in her game, which she hasn't been able to solve from the game with Chiron too. She does well in tactical middle game positions and stuff like that, but these positional, she's misjudging these end games. These middle game positions.
Is it just deliberate practice in working through those positions? Then that's what's going to.
Well, I think it's recognizing these structures, and these kind of typical themes and ideas here. I mean, if you're white, you try. If you're playing, you try to avoid these kind of scenarios, right? That's part of it. You've got to learn how to avoid getting into these kind of positions because. Why? Because they're known to be bad, and that's why. And so she's giving up a pawn, but this is really probably not going to help.
I mean, you're going to have to play like rook d2, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and then put the knight on d4, and actually that's an interesting, she's trying to find a sort of a way to create a blockade or something. But black's got all the ideas here. That black knight at b6 can go to c6. It can go to c5.
So here's the strategy, trying to activate the king and provide some help over on that side.
Yeah, and black is also going to have f6, which is going to, I mean, so black thinking in schematic terms here. Where does the black knight go? to go to c6 or c5, right? Coming up is knight d7, knight c5, or knight, or some knight toward a c6, and white's position is just not going to hold.
So let me do a check on Michael Walder and Lenderman. Rook h6 has been played.
Finally, threatens maybe Lenderman will overlook the mate in one. And that's what.
You got a blind spot. We're rooting for a blind spot.
There's a chance here that Lenderman's thinking about playing rook takes g7 check, and then queen g4 check, which looks kind of strong to me. But also h3. Rook g7 check is kind of tempting here because and he does it. Look at that.
Yeah. Nice find there, Paul.
Well, it's just one of those things that looks right. Queen h2 check is not made even now as well. So it gives white time to make even yet another move, like knight d6 or queen takes d7 or something like that. And even if white does, so queen f4. It's an interesting move. Just kind of dominating, one of those dominating kind of moves.
Now the two minor pieces look pretty strong for white.
Yeah, the black bishop at b7 is just hitting on this f3 square, and so it's kind of ineffectual.
Because it looks like white.
A nice positional exchange, and white can try to play against weak pawns at f5 and d7.
Play c5 and kind of open up that diagonal with bishop c4.
And he plays queen f4 to stop pawn to f4. And now he wants to play knight d6 or knight d4 or something like that. Black is kind of, how do I use my rooks here?
Doing a quick check-in.
Queen f4 is a nice move. Yeah, so the black knight went to c5, and Roy is close to collapse here, it looks like.
Well, it's going to be tough, right? Because if the knight can get to...
Rook d2, that's a pretty move. It prevents knight to d4 even. I mean, and threatens pawn to d4. It's just crushing. Absolutely crushing move.
Yeah. And that rook looks suddenly pretty trapped.
Yeah. All this is, Kyron's finding the nice moves, but it's just kind of, this stuff flows out of positions like this. And these two games that Roy has lost to Kyron here are, or I'm not saying she hasn't lost yet, but I mean, it's coming down to the wire here. Very instructive games, I think, and both very similar in content and execution.
And how fast, as a chess student, say that she realizes, okay, this is a hole we've identified in her game, and we want to work to improve it. How long does it take? The realization.
Oh, I think she's got the talent. I mean, all she has to do is kind of recognize what she's been doing to herself, right? By accepting these positions right out of the opening. She's kind of thinking that this is okay to do this, and it's just not, and it tends to, and so she's got to, once she recognizes that kind of thing, then she should be able to correct her play without any problem at all. It's just kind of realizing that these kind of structures, she's getting in trouble in these structures.
actually, going back to that.
So Kyron's won another pawn. Yeah, this is just, you don't want this to happen.
Yeah, this was just.
So part of it is yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I mean, we could see this coming from 20 moves ago, 25 moves ago. It wasn't hard to predict.
Right.
And so what made it easy for me to spot that was just experience. And so Michael's making it a little bit interesting here.
Yeah, because he's able to trade the queens.
Find some path with the rooks here. I mean, he's under pressure. He's definitely under pressure. Black has weak pawns all over the place, but he's up the exchange, and probably quite difficult defense here, I would say. It's going to have to look for some tactical possibilities, and it's going to be tough. The pawn at a7 is not quite hanging, I guess, because it's a rook a8, but knight g6 is a threat here. No, black.
A few games remaining in the round here.
Black has some nebulous chances to hold this with some great moves.
Nebulous chances to hold this with some great moves.
Well, I mean, after providing commentary for as long as I have, I'm starting to run out of platitudes. I need some new material. I need a comedian to write some lines for me. Something.
With some fantastic moves. Yeah.
So, what's going on board 2?
Board 2, here we are. It's just...
going from bad... Oh, yikes.
From bad to bad.
Oh,
there we go, right here, right?
So, I mean, maybe Roy's got nothing else to do but play a little chess this evening. Here.
Isn't it mate right here?
It looks like it should be made soon.
No, he's got king h4.
It should be made soon. And she's playing it out.
It's mating soon.
But Kyron has really showing a lot of class in these tournaments. I mean, he really is. He's got the technique, the great technique, the technique that's needed to win one positions, and he finds not just he's always finding the move that's a little bit more than optimal. Which I admire too. So it's not just, a good move that he's finding, but it's just a little bit better than the good move, and consistently. So he's really impressing me a lot.
Congratulations to Kyron, who's won that game, and he is at 5 out of 6.
I mean, Kyron is the untitled strong IM now playing in the Tuesday night tournament.
Oh,
that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah. And I like to think he's benefiting just from the reps because, even though he probably knew, like you did, that, this is the position I want and I'm going to slowly build it up. I mean, it's like a muscle you're working out, right? You get those reps against strong players, and you're kind of like reinforcing and practicing this.
Well, I can see you. We can see his weaknesses in when he plays somebody like Lenderman, right? And which is that his opening preparation is not quite up to the level that it should be, probably, with playing these guys, right? I mean, if you're going to play grandmasters consistently, then probably he would need to, if he knew he was going to enter a tournament with a bunch of grandmasters, he would need to really up his openings and get them up to the level, where he can compete with these guys. Because Lenderman had him in trouble, I think, out of the opening.
Yeah, yeah. Last week, right?
And that's definitely an issue.
And
Michael is fighting here.
But he's about to lose a. Oh no! But
he's fighting. But White's going to have G3 here in a minute. Maybe does it work? Not quite. Bishop takes F3. Maybe it's too messy.
And if knight takes B7, rook takes C4.
Oh, that's got to be good for black. That knight would be all the way out of the game, and I mean, Lenderman could, with some careless play here, could lose control of the game, and Michael could win here. So,
what about rook? Oof.
Black, White's playing with this nice bind stuff here, and basically, this is a tough move to face here. This bishop E6, and I'm starting to think that black is running out of moves here. Yeah, the bishop. Okay, so here goes another pawn. That was probably inevitable. But White, by taking another pawn, is going to finally allow black some freedom here. I mean, black had to sort of, give away the bank in order to get out. So knight F5, rook B4 or something like that, and White can play B3 then, and black is still in trouble. And Lenderman's continuing to find other moves to harass. What are you laughing at?
No, Judith was just giving me her commentary on her game.
Wow.
Which I cannot reveal. So those two
and
pieces.
Again, Lenderman is using the domination theme.
Like the newsletter, like from your newsletter.
Yeah, keeping black off guard here. Taking a pawn is less important than harassing the black bishop and keeping all the threats alive. Like, the fact that black rook moves can sometimes be met by knight F7 check and all these kind of things, and waiting for the right moment to take the pawn. Very nice. I mean, here we're seeing really, Kyron showing us the technique that he does. This is a different kind of dance, in these positions. It's very, very subtle play by White here. The exchange sack I would have seen, and any master would have seen. And the play after that has been kind of interesting.
And Walder down to 40 seconds left on the clock.
And Alexei says he's got the great plan to lose on time. Like Lenderman couldn't beat me except for,
if it wasn't for time.
Right, yeah.
He's down to like 20 seconds. I mean,
Well, and that just goes to show you the problems that White has been setting black here.
Yeah, we need
one pawn for the exchange. Now 2 pawns. Money in the bank kind of a move. And black's got to look at that. Black rook has almost no squares. Black is just looking for some way to create some issue here for white. I mean, even rook f5 is not even a threat because of bishop f5, rook c8 check. Maybe bishop takes f3 and then rook f5. Trying for some bad rook and pawn ending. That's black. That's maybe sort of the only hope here, is some kind of bad rook and pawn ending.
This may be the last game of the round. Marina Zhao beat Pranav Padip in the under.
Now, for example, if Lenderman played something like knight g3, Michael could happily play bishop takes f3 and get 2 pawns for the piece, and then be a rook for a knight and a bishop down. And that game could go on for quite a while after that. I mean, white would still be probably winning, but that would be a way that black could offer a lot of resistance.
Black will be playing on the increment, though. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's say knight g3, bishop takes f3, g takes f3, rook f3. And now, like I said, okay, so Lenderman does this because if rook f5, that just loses completely. So black should try bishop f3 probably here.
And
I would. Do it.
Don't lose on time. Get mated. Right? That's like a fighter saying, I'm going to get knocked out before going to a decision. And black can't take the piece because rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes, and then rook c8 check.
Yeah, that would be a lost rook and pawn ending for sure. But he could try bishop f3 first, if given the opportunity, right? Just to make it, that would maybe. Yeah. So Lenderman's not even giving him that chance. King f2 doesn't even give him black the chance of playing bishop f3.
So Alexander Lenderman, perfect 6-0 to win the TNM, and it looks like Kyron Griffith at 5 out of 6 will take clear second. And I think all the games are done, and I'll wait for.
Michael actually stands a chance.
Oh, that's right. 5, yeah. Thank you, Alexi. 5.5 out of 6. Not perfect because he drew with Rui.
Right. Yeah, congratulations for Rui. So Kyron won that game, I assume. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even at the very end here, Michael has some kind of chance with bishop takes f3 and then rook takes f5. I mean, that's a rook and pawn ending that's got to be lost, but
yeah. Yeah, but definitely definitely lost. Hold on.
Wow, they're saying they like my idea. Rook b4, b3, a4. Maybe that's possible. Yeah.
And we're actually going to try to see if we can get the winner on for.
Don't allow him to share the screen.
Just no sharing screen.
Yeah.
Let me prepare that.
I think Lenderman was a little shaky today, to tell you the truth, and our players missed some chances. Roy certainly got him off the hook with that draw. Or that early draw.
Yeah, curious to hear that.
And Michael had a game out of the opening, which is saying something against Lenderman.
And that'll be interesting when you look back on that game, if there was stuff there. That he
even at the ending position, there's still possibilities for black. It's still holding tough.
All right, so
wow, congratulations for, Lennerman showed a little bit of cracks in his play here, and particularly that game with Roy was but congratulations to him.
Yeah, 5.5 out of 6. And here we have the winner.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Congratulations. Our players this week tried not to make it easy for you, but
yeah, sure. These last 2 games were actually quite difficult. In the game before that, I kind of later, as I was playing this game, I really regretted offering a draw in the final position because I thought in round 5 I was actually slightly worse, and given the tournament standings, I was like, okay, try to win with the white last game. But then I realized I wasn't actually worse. So I kind of was a little bit annoyed that I offered the draw. And then, especially as I was playing this game, I mean, my opponent threw everything he could at me. It was actually a very difficult game. He played extremely well. I was just lucky he got very low on time, but really, I didn't outplay him at all. He pretty much found a lot of great moves, especially this Queen H4 move was very, very nasty.
Right, because and then F5, and there was a lot of opportunities he created.
F5 I saw, but I still think it wasn't a big deal. But if you want, I can share screen because there are some interesting lines there.
Actually, we should just look at it on our board.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you some critical moments.
Actually, here, I actually have it up. Here, let me get over here. So let me just get back. Here, let's wait till it stops, and then let me know whether you wanted me to go forward.
I really did not want to play it, but I felt like I played it out of necessity. It was kind of a move I really don't want to play because I'm weakening the 3 square. But.
So we're here at Black plays F5. Do you want me to keep going, or?
Yeah, sure. So F5 takes. So I took everything, took on D4. Maybe taking on D4 was a mistake, and maybe taking on F5 was also not best. I mean, I kind of really doubt the way I played there. Maybe I need to play F5, F3 simply. But the thing is, I thought I can play 92 after takes 92. But then after 92, I saw this move F4, which was very nasty, which I didn't see originally. F4, knight takes F4, bishop H6.
And if you play F3, then he puts a piece at E3.
Then I weaken E3. Yeah, I really never wanted to play F3. That's the thing. So then I played knight B5. I had that sense that it's a little bit out there. I mean, my knight might be out of play. But the problem is I didn't see how. And I thought, okay, I also have knight D6 ideas in some cases. And I was trying to actually make it work. I thought it works. But then he played Queen H4. And then I'm like, that's very unpleasant. Because after Queen H4, obviously he threatens bishop takes G2 with perpetual,
correct,
at least.
Yeah.
And so then I was thinking, okay, what if I play F4 after Queen H4? I wanted to play F4. But then I saw Rook F6, and this is very unpleasant because it not only defends against knight D6, but he also wants to play Rook H6 and Rook G6. And there was a funny line I saw. So F4, Rook F6, Queen F2, right?
Instead of F3, yeah.
And then he plays Rook G6. He sacks the queen, and after Queen H4, he goes Rook G2. And I'm like, seriously?
I pointed that line out.
Yeah.
I pointed that line out.
Oh, nice.
That was like the dream line.
We knew it wasn't going to happen, but we just noted that it was possible.
No, and the thing is, if I have to play G3, I mean, he could even play just Rook E8 or something, bishop H6.
Right.
It's just very unpleasant. And so I just couldn't make it work. And I think another move I was looking at is bishop E2 instead of F4, because I really wanted to avoid F3. So I looked at bishop E2, but then I still think he can play Rook F6. I think he can sack the pawn on D4, and still I think he has too much play. I just didn't.
But what should he have played after pawn to f3?
This was the go ahead.
No, I think he played rook f6, which is still very interesting. I would have probably just played bishop h6 though, and
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, because I would have played queen e1. At that point, I was just happy to play a draw on endgame and hopefully squeeze him like really in like 50 moves. At that point, just, wanted to get the queens off the board and not blunder something. But okay, you played rook f6. It's very interesting double-edged. I have no idea. And even after that, I probably still misplayed something, and then I was already like, okay, let me just sack the exchange. I thought I'm not really worse there. Maybe I am, but maybe just slightly. And at least I'm not getting mated. I got queen f4, and then I was hoping that with his low time, I could somehow try to grind in that endgame. I mean, he offered me a draw, which is I think very legitimate because he probably thought he might be a bit better, which he might very well be, but I thought I'm not really risking actually that much, especially with his low time, and I thought, okay, the worst comes to worst, I end up drawing. I wasn't really going to overpress, but that's kind of when I regretted offering that draw the previous game, because had I won the previous game, I would have probably actually taken the draw there.
Alexei Ruud in this position, and actually Paul was talking about it here, that instead of him going rook a to f8, he should have opted for like king h8, rook g8.
Yeah, maybe. I saw that too. I thought maybe I can have some knight d6 with ideas like, and then try to even like, there's some ideas of knight f7 mate, like if, like an ideal scenario for me. Of course, it's not going to happen, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, until deep in the endgame, I was never really that comfortable. I mean, once I won the second one, but the main thing was the time. Like, he had only like 2 minutes left, so at that point, I figured, okay, even if he doesn't lose on time, it will be very difficult for him to defend that with 2 seconds per move. But
Paul called this one right here. 2 seconds, both.
Oh, it's
with 2 seconds per move, it's actually very hard. I mean, in positions like that, it's just you're gonna have to play a bunch of accurate moves.
Paul called this move on the broadcast your rook g7 here. So Paul predicted it.
Which move? Which move?
Rook x g7.
I thought you would
rook
play
g7,
this.
right? Yeah. I was considering if I can just. Originally, I wanted to play queen g3, but then I saw that rook g6, queen f4, bishop h6, and my rook on e7 hangs actually. And then I wanted to play h3, but h3, queen g5. I mean, rook d7. It would look too risky. I thought I could miss something, so I thought, yeah, let's just play rook g7 because at least there I thought I'm not in so much danger anymore.
When the queens came off the board and you played rook b1, did you still feel your position was solid and you'd be able to create opportunities, or were you a little?
Yeah, I was evaluating as roughly equal. I didn't think I was really that much worse, if at all worse. And I had a sense my opponent's a very good attacking player, like just the way everything was going on, and so I figured, okay, I have to try to outplay him in endgame because. It's clear he feels his activity pretty well, like at least compared to his rating. So I figured I have to try to, outplay him in an endgame, right? Because if he's, let's say, 24, 2500, I mean, if he can outplay him in one part of the game, like play like 25, 2600 level, then, if he wouldn't be, 2200 or whatever, if he was, like this in every part of the game, right? So I figured, I have to find an area in the game where he's a bit weaker, hopefully.
Yeah. That's grandmaster thinking right there. Compartmentalize it.
Very practical.
Yeah. Compartmentalize it and find the strengths. And then the game went on, but then I think the time pressure caught up. And
it looks like even in the final position, I actually just now put it on the computer, and it looks like it's saying bishop d5 was still actually equal for him, even where he lost on time. But okay, even if he hadn't lost on time, it's not clear if he plays bishop d5, and even then, it's like it is equal, but okay, it's position.
Right, because bishop d5.
He has to play a bunch of moves with 2 seconds per move, so it's kind of at that
Right,
point, I
right.
was thinking I should win, but
Right. Very interesting.
So congratulations on the result, clear first, and we were saying on the broadcast. So you're going to be one of the participants in the 2020 U.S. Closed. When is that going on?
yeah, it's next month, end of October, starts on the 26th. They actually have a bunch of these invitational events going back to back, starting with October 9th through 11th, the US Junior, and
Yeah.
all the way until the US Close. So very good times for chess players because instead of having to play for 14 days, it finishes in 4 days.
Do it all quick. Our chess committee chair at the Mechanics Institute, Patrick Wolf, he'll be playing in the senior.
Yeah, I saw actually. That was interesting, and I mean, I also noticed that like this everyone is playing. Like Jeff Frixion is playing in the junior,
Yeah.
Septmeber too. Like these people who normally don't play, they actually playing. So it actually makes it much more interesting dynamic. I mean, the same thing happened in these girls juniors. Normally they're not that strong, but like this year, all these scholastic events and junior, they're just like 100 times stronger because normally when
Everybody
you
can
travel,
play.
you don't,
Right.
these 500 don't actually go out there and travel. But when it's online, it's just, 1 day, it's 2 days. It's obviously much more convenient. So it's the funny thing is that all these junior events just became like 100 times stronger this year because they're online.
No, right. I mean,
Yes.
we start the U.S. Cadet on Friday, and all the top 8 participants accepted except one. So like because there's no restriction on travel, right? So everyone can play online, and it's convenient.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I mean, I'm just saying in normal times, people don't really want to travel and spend all this
Right.
money and
Right.
to play a tournament, which, is not maybe as lucrative, but online, anything is kind of makes sense. So
Yeah.
even for me, like this tournament, I figured, okay, online, if you don't have to go anywhere,
Yeah,
travel.
you're not going to come over and fly into Mechanics every Tuesday night
Yeah, to play the marathon.
To
Yeah,
play the
like-
marathon.
No, because I mean there are over-the-board tournaments actually coming back, like near where I live, like in New York. Well, there's like not the Marshall, but like let's say there are some tournaments that they're running outside, and there's Connecticut Chess Club, but they're all kind
Right.
of far away and just the main problem for me is very small prizes and just wouldn't make sense if I have to travel or go out, but
The
if
traveling's
it's
the obstacle.
online,
Yeah.
it's much more practical. Like those are the tournaments I would never play in even during normal times, right? So
Right. Well, we want to thank you for playing at the Mechanics Institute and playing our events. It's a lot of fun to have you and watch your games, especially just the quality of your chess and following it and learning from it. And it's a pleasure having you on and being a part of all of this. So thank you very much for playing, and
yeah, thank you
congratulations
for running these. And I have to say, it's I might sound modest, but actually I feel like my quality hasn't been that great in this tournament, except for the game against Kyron, the big game, which I won. That seems to be like the only really good game I played. The other games were very shaky. Like this last one was very shaky. I mean, the round before was just like a draw. And round 3, actually against Siren Pranav, at some point he was just outplaying me too. I think he was much better at some point then.
And I was about to
Right.
say the one player you don't want to be shaky against was Kyron, but of course, and he's in the chat saying, yeah, that had to be the one great game. that you
Well,
weren't
yeah,
sure.
you kind of knew the line, and the thing about it also was that obviously I took the game maybe a little more seriously. Although, I mean, I felt like I took every game, seriously, but I think it was just, I guess it was just the opening. Kind of.
Yeah,
Played in
the
a way
opening.
which-
It's just what happens sometimes.
Well,
Because sometimes you just get these positions that you just don't have that much experience in. Even at my level, you would think I'm a GM, I would know everything. But no, I mean, there's still positions that I understand and feel for more than others. And,
well, I'm happy that the mechanics players can give you a good workout, and hopefully it serves you well when you're playing the U.S. closed. Give you
yeah,
little
hopefully, absolutely.
repetitions.
I mean, I feel like, especially that last game, I can definitely learn from it. So I'm very happy that it was competitive. So that's what I like about this kind of tournament. I can learn something and I can still win. So for me, it's kind of a win-win situation, I guess. Right? And for your members, it's also very good. They get a chance to play GM. So.
Oh, they love it. Yeah, they love it.
It was very good, very good.
So hopefully we can play some more of these. Probably not going to play the next one because it's going to overlap with US Championship. It's going to be too close before.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe after my US Championship I can play a couple. We'll see.
That would be great to have you.
Yeah, it would be an honor. And just thank you very much for coming on and breaking down the game. And you have a lot of fans at Mechanics will be rooting for you at the US Championship, including us. So good luck with that. We'll be following that. And congratulations on everything.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, Alex. Alex Lenderman, clear first in the Tuesday night marathon with 5.5 out of 6.
Yeah.
And that is a wrap. The final standings are posted on the website. You can go and check that out. Let me put the link in the chat for those that don't have it. There it is. And Paul, we finished it up. That's a wrap for the marathon.
Wow.
Great marathon and great interview with Alex. He's
a really nice guy and a heck of a chess player. And there was a lot of informative moments in this last 2 games that we, the last 2 rounds.
And that's one of the great things about chess, and even just the players at the Mechanics, that even a super strong grandmaster, they can, give them enough problems where even they feel they learn, even in victory, right? That they have to think through and work out some, it's not a gimme and it's not an easy win. And
right.
It's kind of a testament to, the players that play at our club that, we have some talent that can mix it up with grandmasters and, they're looking for the point or, looking to get points from grandmasters. So. And,
it was a good round, good couple of rounds, good finish to the tournament. Michael Walter.
Yeah, great game. And
great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before we sign off, just one more time, want to give props to Judith Stare, who's in the back room, pairing the games, playing an extra rated game to give someone a game. And running the help desk and all of that in the chat. She's doing it all. So thank you very much for an amazing tournament.
Behind the scenes.
Making it all happen. And she's going to be doing it again this weekend as we kick off the 2020 U.S. Cadet Championship starting Friday night at 4 p.m. And we'll be covering that wall to wall starting Friday through Saturday through Sunday. IMs and FMs fighting it out, and Rui trying to wreak havoc and make her own way.
The cream of the young crop of chess players.
So Judith, before we sign off, do we have anyone to raid? Any raiders? Yeah, I mean it's been like a marathon for us, the commentators. Judith's saying the pairings are up, and I'm imagining she's talking about the cadet pairings. And let me go to that real quick so we can see what's going on Friday night.
Yeah, and people can get a look at who's playing.
And yeah, it is up. So it looks like round 1, Rui will have black against Christopher Shen. Andrew Hong is going to have black against Christopher Yu. Actually, wow, that's like a big time matchup right there with Christopher Yu and Andrew Hong. Maximilian Liu is black against Arthur Gu, and Justin Wang is playing Robert Shliatenko. So those are the pairings, but you can see the pairings yourself on the cadet site, and I'll put it up if she hasn't done that already, and of course she has, but there I'll put it up anyway. So let's raid Josh Friedel, who's going to be a guest on Sunday for the U.S. Cadet. So yeah, let's do it. Let's raid Josh Friedel. Josh actually streamed the Blitz Tournament of the Americas, covered that for us actually on another channel with Yvette. So anyway,
thanks everybody. Good night.
For FIDE Master Paul Whitehead and Dr. Judith Starre, I'm Abel Talamantes. Thank you for following the Tuesday Night Marathon. We will see everyone Friday night for round 1 of the 2020 U.S. Cadet National Championship. Good night, everyone. Adios.
All right.
And
good night, everybody.